All right, so we get a lot of questions lately about proper foot position. What does a good foot position look like while we're squatting? So there's all different types of feet out there. We got super flat feet where they're just really diving in and there's no space between their arch and the floor. We've got people who are got a super, called a canvas foot with a big high arch. And then there's people like me with a fairly normal arch, not really going in either direction. So while we squat, what do we want to look for as coaches or even just practicing the squat ourselves during this movement? What we want to see is that we're maintaining an arch in the foot. Okay, so as people start squatting, we'll often see that foot starting to dive in, and as it dives in, what's going to happen is going to bring that knee along. Okay, and all of a sudden that knee is put in a bad position, and also we're going to get some pinching at the hip. Okay, so sometimes just by having a bad foot position, all of a sudden all the mechanics up here get faulty, and we get into a weak position, and also maybe an injurious position too, where we get a lot of different injuries, whether acute or chronic or with repetition. So to kind of correct this diving in, which is predominantly what we see with more people than not, is to put the foot in the position that we want. Okay, so what we're going to have here is we want to get our weight from the inside of our foot, which is happening as we dive in, to kind of the outside edge of the heel. That's where we should feel like our weight is at. Okay, so if I roll from my hip, if I roll my knee out, and get that knee going out over my foot more instead of inside of my foot, so we want it outside of the foot, all of a sudden I'm picking up that arch, okay? Now I can also think of like gripping the ground. Some coaches will cue that, but I want to sustain contact with my big toe, my heel, and the outside of my foot, and we got those kind of 3 points of contact, which creates a stable base, okay? And I have a nice arch in my foot. So while I'm squatting, I want to make sure that this doesn't change, and that'll help my knee stay in proper position and my hip stay in proper position too. We can also go too far out. So if we're going out so far that my big toe is coming off the ground, obviously we've lost that third point. So now we have the heel and outside of the foot in contact, but we're missing here. If I'm squatting like this, obviously this is not a very stable position. So the good foot, it's not flat. The big toe is not coming off the ground. It's in the middle there. We're gripping the floor, a strong arch. That helps keep everything above the foot and ankle, proper alignment. And no matter if you have your foot turned out 40 degrees, if that's what's comfortable for you squatting, whether you like a straightforward foot position while you're squatting, the same rules apply for what the foot should look like, okay? Not collapsing.